going to take a look at a few of the equations from the zombie graphing activity, and I'm going to graph these 6 so that we get a good understanding of how to graph these equations when they are in slope-intercept form. So looking at the first one, the very first thing that you do, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. When you know that your equation is in slope-intercept form, your y is by itself, then you start with your y-intercept, which is going to be the number that is by itself. That's the number that is not paired with x. So I have a positive 2, which means I'm going to go start at my origin, go up 2, and put a point. Then I look at my slope. If you have a whole number for the coefficient of x, then rewrite it as a fraction. Because remember, your slope is rise over run. Your numerator tells you where you're going up and down. Your denominator tells you where you're going to the right. So I start at the point that I plotted first, and then I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the right 1. And you can do this as many times as you need to, but if you have a ruler, then all you have to do is line up these 2 points where the ruler falls right in between, right on the line that they are plotted on, and just draw a line on the edge of that ruler. Now, I cannot do that on the Promethean board because it's too big. However, I can plot 2 points and draw a straight line between them because I have a tool to do that. So, for this activity, we are looking at killing the zombies with the equations, and the main part that I want you to get is how to graph this line. If you understand how to graph this line, then that's what you need to know. But for the purpose of this activity, the graph went through this zombie, so I would circle it with the color that I graphed it in, and then I would come find a picture of her over here, and it looks like she's down here at the bottom, so I would write the equation so that I know the purple graph that went through this zombie is this equation. Alright, my next one, x equals 3. When you graph equations, they have to be in slope-intercept form first, which is when y is by itself. Here, y is not by itself because there is no y. So when it says x equals 3, that means I'm going to go to my x-axis, and I'm going to put a point on positive 3. And now that I have put a point on positive 3, there's no slope, there's no y-intercept, so the graph is not going to cross the y-intercept. So all I'm going to do is just draw a line through the point that I plotted. Because it is x equals 3, when I go over to 3 on the x-axis, I draw a vertical line. Because if I draw a horizontal line, all I'm doing is drawing the x-axis again. But here, when I draw a vertical line, we know from our last unit this is not a function. But everywhere on this graph that I've drawn in red, this point is 3, 0. This point is 3, 1. This point is 3, 2. This point is 3, 3. Everywhere on this graph, the x-axis, the x-coordinate is going to be 3. So the equation for that is x equals 3. Now, for the purpose of this activity, it's going through this zombie. So we're going to write x equals 3 where we see this zombie right here at the top, x equals 3. Alright, my next one. It's in slope-intercept form, so I don't have to isolate my y because it's already been done. I start with my y-intercept, which is the number that is not with x, the number at the very end of the equation, and I'm going to go down 2 on the y-axis and put a point. The next thing I do is I look at my slope. My slope is -2 over 7. My Numerator tells me where I'm going up or down. Denominator tells me where I'm going to the right. So when I plot my y-intercept, I went down 2, put a point, and now my slope says -2, so I'm going down 2. Denominator says to the right 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I put a point, and then you'll line it up with your ruler, and you will graph that point all the way through this graph. And so it really helps to go the opposite way when I'm drawing this. So if I'm going to go up, just so I can extend the graph this way, I'm going to go up 2. I did the opposite of going down 2. So I have to go to the left 7. I'm going to go to the left 7 after I go up 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, put a point. And I just did that because that helps me to line up these points. And when I look at this orange line, it did touch these 2 zombies. So again, we're going to write our equation y equals -2/7x minus 2, where we see these zombies that are being touched. And that one is right. Sometimes it's a little difficult to see where these. Oh, that was the first one that I did. So it should be these 2. Alright. Now, y equals 7/2x plus 12. Again, we started our y-intercept. We're going up 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put a 12 on your y-axis. And then 7/2. I can't go up 7, so I'm going to go down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My denominator says to go to the right 2, but since I went down 7 instead of going up 7, I have to go to the left 2. And once you put those 2 points, you graph your line. So now I connect these 2 lines, and that is the graph for y equals 7/2x plus 12. You should be pretty familiar with how to write your equation in the box for the corresponding zombie, so we're going to move on. Y equals -1. We always start at our y-intercept, which is -1, so on my y-axis, I'm going to go down 1. And y equals mx plus b. I don't have an x, therefore my slope is going to be 0, so I can't go up or down. I'm just going to go left to right. That's going to be my graph for y equals -1. And now we have y equals 1/4 x plus 10. You're in slope-intercept form. Start on your y-axis with your y-intercept. That means I'm going up 10, and I'm putting a point. My slope is 1/4. You rise, before you run, rise over run. Go up 1 to the right 4. Or you can go down 1 and then to the left 4. Just remember you have to do the opposite if you do the opposite of what the numerator tells you to do. And that graph will look like this. So that is how you graph y equals 1/4 x plus 10. I am going to do one more, simply because I want to make sure you know how to do this. When we have y equals -1/3 x, we always start at our y-intercept, but there's no number written there after the x. When you have y equals -1/3 x, when all you have is your slope and your y and your x, then you're going to start at the origin. And then once you plot the point at the origin, do what the slope tells you to do. Down 1 to the right 3, and then you can graph your line, connecting these points, and remember we always extend it all the way. And you should always make sure to draw an arrow at the end to show that these graphs are extended. Finish this page for homework, and if you have any other questions about how to graph slope-intercept form, then see me in class.